This is the Crookedrivercast. I am Robert, and the other voice you're about to hear is Tom, and we are two guys trying to keep track of what is going on in the great state of Ohio. This is show 55 for the week of April 6th, 2026. All right, let's just do it. Come on. Messing around. In the morning.
That was interesting.
Always is. Always is.
Today is April 4th. The show will
is.
come out on the April 6th. How about that?
Yes. Slight typo in there. Fix that real quick, because next week I'll make the same mistake. Good morning this morning. That's fine morning. The weather has broke.
Holy Saturday.
Yes, Holy Saturday. Easter is tomorrow. And happy belated Easter, because you'll be listening to this on Monday. Well, I will not be working.
Is that Dingus Day?
Is that Dingus Day? I
think it's always the day after Easter.
Yeah,
Easter
okay,
Monday.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I think.
Yeah. So, Easter, the weather's broke. Start seeing some 70 degrees. Air conditioning is coming on in the car and the truck.
I know. I'm driving home from work the other day, and I'm like turning on the air conditioning going.
Yeah.
And I think it was just the humidity. It wasn't all that hot. It was just like it was muggy in the car.
Well, guess what else is back?
What's that?
Frickin' geese.
Oh, did you step in some dew?
No.
Dew?
No, at our office, we have a geese problem. So how we remedy that geese problem, my remedy is different. It has to do with bird shot, and, 12 gauge and stuff like that. But we have bought decoy wolves, coyotes maybe, or whatever. I think they're wolves or coyotes. They're probably coyote size, not wolf size. They're coyotes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's worked for like 3 or 4 years.
Really?
Yeah. We just put them out
guys...
and we move them around every day. They put them in a different spot. Otherwise, we found out if we keep them in the same spot, they ignore them. They start to ignore
that's
them.
what I was just about to ask. Yeah.
Well, this year they were a bit late.
You need to move them.
They were a bit late this year.
Really?
Yeah, I pulled into one parking lot, and there was a goose walking around or whatever. That happens, and springtime, so I didn't even think of it. And I'm like, I'm walking out of the door, going back to my truck, and here's this goose. He starts yelling at me, and I'm like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Get the hell out of here! What the hell?" And I was like, "Oh!" And it dawned on me. I'm looking over there, and there's this chick, looking for a nest. And of course, I get in a truck, and another guy walks out from his car from lunch. He's going back in, and he's looking at it. And I pull up, and I roll my window down. I'm like, "Just go." He's like, No. Dude, just go. He's not going to do anything. Just, block the sensitive areas. Oh no, I'm calling Andrea, and she's going to lock the other door. And I'm like, oh, oh, okay. Oh my goodness, sorry, excuse me. So then a couple days go by. I sent out an email, said, "Hey, we might want to get the wolves out there or coyote, whatever, and then we might, because we got this and that." And then of course we get the email that it's a protected species and you can't touch the nest or anything. Oh my God, I ain't gonna touch the nest. You can't touch the bird either.
What if they touched you?
Well, thank you. Yes, that's what I said. I said, "This is America, damn it. If I get attacked, I have the right to defend myself."
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be doing the show by myself.
Well,
Rob got arrested.
And then somebody in the office was like, "Oh, did you film it?" And I was like, I'm not filming my own crimes. You crazy? I'm not stupid. You film my own crimes and post it on Twitter and then get caught and go, "How did they find me?"
We just podcast it.
Yeah, we just podcast it. No, I didn't touch it. So a couple days later, I go back and I kind of forgot about it a little bit. So I park the truck and I look over at this corner. It's a corner right by the one door that people go in. And there's grass, tall grass and fields over here. There's a big hill. You got to pick the corner with the mulch and next to the building. Perfect. So I'm like, "Oh, that's right. Look at that. That's funny." So they had taken both wolves or both coyote decoys and put them pointing at the nest Nest is in the corner. You got one on either side, and they're like, I don't know, 5-6 feet away. I'm like, that's pretty funny. I got my laptop bag, and I got pulling my phone out. I'm like, I gotta take a picture of that. And all of a sudden, I look up on the roof, and here comes dude. Here comes Papa, squawking, flying off the roof, about to attack me. That son of a bitch was up there sniping me. So I mean, I get it. It is scary. It's not to say, oh, look at me, manly man. I wasn't. That's a little frightening. But all you gotta do is get bigger and louder.
Yeah.
And he just went, oh. And just kind of sit there and looked at me and gave me a couple of hisses. I'm like, dude, I'm good. I don't care about her. You and your bitch, you got it all by yourself, man. I just trying to get to my truck. Stupid geese. Canadians. Damn Canadians.
Your tires are sliced next week.
I know. Get by who? The environmentalist or the geese? Sure, which one? So that was
there's going to be a
exciting.
dump on the hood too.
Me and him have an agreement now.
Okay.
So the last time I went there late last week, I pulled in a lot, and they were walking around like outside. They weren't by the nest, the two of them. I'm like, oh, he's taking her for a walk. I'm like, ooh, perfect timing. So I walked over and put the coyote decoys like right on the nest. All right. Now you really got the challenge. Yeah, you really got a challenge there, buddy. So let's see. I don't know. They may just go away. But I'm like, look all this beautiful land you have to have a nest, and you want to do it in a mulch bed next to a parking lot. I mean, it is a pretty defensible position, I have to admit.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah. I guess, screw the geese. Damn Canadians, take your damn birds back. Can we put a tariff on the birds? Where's Trump when we need him? Put a tariff on the birds. I'll keep them over there.
Put a tariff on the crap. Well,
that too. That stuff's greasy, man. Like you should use that. Can't they use that as a lubricant somewhere? I can imagine you get plenty of it. Kind of like, they use.
Don't give them any ideas. It's going to be some type of frying oil.
They use. That's true. Yeah. They use bat poo for some kind of medical stuff, don't they?
I don't know.
Is
that what bat?
Bueno, guano,
crazy
guano,
is?
guano.
Guano's great. Fertilizer.
Okay,
it's awesome fertilizer.
Anywho, enough about poo. Speaking of poo, I was not even going to bring this up, Tom. I really wasn't on the list. It's not on the list. I wasn't going to bring anything about Iran up, but of course, they had to shoot down a couple of our planes last night, and I'm just curious: is Iran becoming a shit show?
A couple. They shot down one plane, 2 pilots, or whatever.
No, it's more than one plane now.
Really? Oh, now it's more than one plane?
They, I think, during the rescue mission, they shot down a A-10 Warthog, which is a low flying, slow. That's a 70s. That plane is awesome. Heavily armored, just tons of guns and bombs and stuff. So that was shot up. It ended up crashing in Kuwait, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So the pilots are good, but the plane was they got out of there, determined the plane was a loss, so he ejected. I thought there was rumors of another A-10, so rumors of a third one possibly, but right now 2 are confirmed, but only one pilot is still missing as far as this morning is.
I thought they were going to they were hoping to find him overnight because it's a little easier.
Yeah. So I wasn't even going to mention it, but I was like, well, it was all over the news last night when I was going through show prep, and I was like, geez, oh man. But I guess according to the left, really only Iran, only certain countries are allowed to have. We're not allowed to have a king, but places like Iran can have a king. Venezuela can have a king. Who else can have a king? Oh, England can have a king, but not America.
No kings.
No kings. Woohoo! So we had more protests. Did you see any of these? I didn't see any of these.
Trump is a dictator, but he's also a king. He's also a Nazi. A Nazi controlled by Jews. Oh, and he also a Russian double agent who protects his secret agent identity by pissing on Moscow hookers.
I was wondering where you were going with that one. Okay.
Compliments of Razor Fist.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Well, I think we can start off with a good old Scott Jennings analysis. What do you think about that? Let's hear what Scott Jennings has to say about No Kings protest.
These No Kings rallies actually look pretty representative to me of the Democratic coalition. I saw people flying the hammer and sickle in New York City. I saw Hezbollah flags. I saw Hamas flags. I saw Palestinian flags. I saw trans signs. I see weirdo liberal boomers out there. This is pretty representative of the Democratic coalition, and that's who funds it as well, by the way. And so I think if America looks at this and says, what do the two parties stand for? They got it at the No Kings rally.
No, I think if you Americans were out there, Republicans.
You like hammer and sickle? You like hammer and sickle flag?
That's not what that No King stood for.
They had a bunch of them.
That, and that is,
they come from somewhere.
All right, well, No Kings rally?
I did. I went to 6, and I'll tell you, there's so much excitement. There's so much energy. Yeah,
a lot of free speech.
I'll get you a T-shirt. You should come.
That's a lot of free speech for a country with a king.
That's a lot of free speech, and I'll tell you, there's so.
That's a lot of free speech for a country with a king. But I think I'm not sure. Maybe Scott wasn't read in, or maybe he just must not have known. Maybe he didn't see Theo Von's show. And I mean, RFK broke some serious news on the Theo Von show. Let's hear from JFK on the No Kings protest.
The No Kings protests, Theo, they were a total success. Of course, we planned them.
Oh my God.
It was a bet that I had with President Trump. He said we could never get the fat uggos of the country to walk around and get some fresh air. But I said to him, President Trump, these people might be fat, disgusting weirdos.
Yeah, I don't want to say that, but yeah.
We shouldn't give up on them completely. Plus, they're NPC, so if we do this through the correct channels, those juicy whales will show up without asking questions. Check fucking mate, Theo.
Yeah, of course, that was not real. That was that was AI, but it was freaking good. I don't know.
Checkmate,
Theo. The AI did a decent job of RFK's voice, which is probably a very difficult voice to mimic for the.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. I don't know. Was he right? It was it was fake. It was AI, but it does get the big juicy whales out.
And the fat uggos. And what's a better way to prove how right that fake AI video was by, let's hear from some investigative reporting on the No Kings rally. From Jesse Waters.
No Kings in the USA.
No Kings Day! Woo! No Kings Day.
What are we going to do to the king?
We're going to shut him down.
How are we going to shut him down?
Impeachment.
If there's impeachment, that means there's a Congress and Donald Trump can't be a king.
Right.
Why is Donald Trump a king?
Because he's nuts.
He smells funny.
For real?
Smells funny.
Is that a question?
Because he has repeatedly overused his...
He's trying to abuse this world and try to make this place all about him.
Why are you asking me this?
Yeah. Listen.
You know the answer.
What's the answer?
You know it.
What is it?
You know the answer.
So many people showed up.
Imagine if they showed up like this for Kamala.
Ooh. People showed up for Kamala.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
What is one action that Donald Trump took that is impossible to do under the Constitution, but he did it anyway?
I can't name specific laws. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I lost a lot of thought on that.
You're a reporter, so why don't you do your homework? Don't ask me.
Went to war.
Legally, he could do that.
He can? Oh.
Putting ice in our cities.
Legally, he could put ice in cities.
I don't really give about legally. Rename the Kennedy Center.
Which amendment under the Constitution is he prohibited to renaming the Kennedy Center?
I refer you to the New York Times 2 days ago. They had a list of 30 items.
And you read it?
I read it, absolutely.
So what is one thing from that list?
One thing from that list is I'm blanking.
I did not fully read it. I've got it. I've read excerpts.
He's trying to run again.
If he's trying to run again, why did he leave office the first time?
Because he got voted out.
So why won't he leave office now when he's term limited?
Because he's a fascist, that's why. Did you not hear what I said?
But he left the first
fascist.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes.
He ended with Mondavi in the Oval Office when they're like, we were pushing him on. You said no. It's Trump goes. You can call me a fascist. You can say yes. It's okay. You can say I'm a fascist. It's okay.
That's some fascist.
Nothing newsworthy here, folks. Purely entertainment, and only reason we're bringing it up because it's funny. Because funny. Although, I do have to ask a question.
What's that?
This has been. I heard this asked to me years ago. Not asked to me, but asked like on a show or something. People. Let's say anybody out there gets all the policies they want. You get the laws you want. You get the culture you want. Let's just say in a perfect world, in a fantasy world, you get to make policy and everything gets put in place as you will. Or as a consensus. Maybe not exactly so on.
So I'm king.
Let's say you're king. What do you do with all these people?
Oh, they would mow them down.
Because there's coming a growing sector of the population that can't live with each other. So even if we get everything we want, what are we going to do with these people are still here? You know, in what's the news article here? Is he in an abominable snowman costume? The one of the guys was in the Jesse Waters things was in they're in the blow up. Oh, Barney costumes. What do we do with these people? I don't know the answer. It's a rhetorical question, really. I'm not expecting anyone to answer. I just, you have to think about it. Like, there's a very large section of the country that will never agree with almost anything that we agree with. It's crazy thought.
I heard an interesting comment from Tim Pool last week, and he said he always wished more people would get involved in politics and vote. And now, after all these years, he's kind of like, no, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
You don't want everybody involved in politics or voting.
And I think if you look at big cities with big colleges, as always brought up, what I bring up is you got kids going to college, not kids, they're adults going to college, voting in cities they're never going to live in for policies that they're never going to be under. Just that alone, there should be something like, how do you, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Democracy is king. That's what they tell me. So,
well, it's the female vote that has ruined it. Feminism.
Oh, I've got a clip I should have pulled for that. Yeah, you're right. And it even comes up later, I think in our stories somewhere. Yeah. Oh well, we'll get it next.
Repeal the 19th.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was a Rob Schneider clip, which I pulled and I forgot. But that's no kings. Next, I guess there's been a leak, Tom.
Oh no,
there has been a leak. Whew, man, Kash Patel's Gmail was hacked. Did you hear anything about any of this?
I did not hear anything about it other than it wasn't any news.
Well, I mean, it's big time news from what I can see, and only the best place to get this kind of news is, of course, this guy's shown up on my feed a few times. I think, yeah, Asmund Gold. You ever Asmund Gold? Yeah, always good source for information, but he does break it down kind of concisely and in a nice the way he presents it is pretty good. So let's listen to what they found in the hacked emails. Wait, got to make sure we go. Hacked emails of Kash Patel.
So Kash Patel had his email hacked, apparently by Iranians. So let's take a look at what he was doing before he became the director of the FBI. Smoking cigars in Cuba. Taking a picture next to an old car in Cuba. Smoking cigars again, maybe in Cuba. I'm not sure. Smoking cigars in a hotel room in Cuba. On the job. Okay, good job. That's him. This is from a while ago. He's a young guy then. Look at that. Taking a picture next to the Ernest Hemingway statue. Whoa. Okay, got it. And this is him in Cuba. Okay, confirmed by Reuters. He accessed his Gmail just today, 2 hours ago. Kash has been buying fashion and likes to drive Toyota. 2 years ago, he rated the Lone Star Toyota of Louisville, Texas, 5 stars. And so Kash has been using the username SpiderCash for not only his email addresses, but also for several other accounts. So this is for eBay, okay? Kash likes GIFs and uses Snapchat. Okay, he's got Spotify and Disney Plus. He uses eBay. Okay, I refuse to believe this is him. It must be someone else. This is him on X Videos. X Videos, I think, is that's like Twitter's video service. I'm pretty sure. No. So you have right here gender male, name SpiderCash, location United States. Damn, bro. Damn. The State Department announced a $10 million bounty on the hackers behind Kash Patel's Gmail breach. If you have information on Iranian malicious cyber actors or associated groups or individuals, contact us with any information. So rewards of up to $10 million. I gotta be honest, guys. It's like a PR thing. His email gets hacked, and you find out that he loves drinking. He loves smoking cigars. He loves Ernest Hemingway. He loves Toyota and getting personalized suits made of himself. And he also uses Snapchat, and he looks at porn. And also, if he was doing anything related to his job on his personal email, then you would have found it. Yeah, they really got his ass, trying to make him look like a cool and relatable guy. Are we sure we didn't just release those himself? So the Redditors are mad that it's not more condemning about him. To have somebody get their shit leaked, and then this is all that you get off on them? Wait. Bro. Fortnite and Halo. Fucking based.
He plays Fortnite and Halo. Oh my gosh, they were so pissed. This can't be real. This is all you got. Oh. Oh. Hey, Hillary. Yeah, you imagine there was probably a very, very strong push in the Trump administration to, guys, don't put anything on your personal email. Oh yeah, and Pam Bonnie's out.
Yeah. Is Kash next?
I don't think so. I don't know.
People aren't happy.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know. I think that it's a possibility, but who else they were talking about Hegseth too, but I don't think these things get
No, he's not gone. Well, you had
but really Epstein stuff.
You had Christy Nome first, Pam Bondi. Is Pam Bondi's husband going to have bigger tits than Christy Nome's husband?
No, they wouldn't allow that, would they? There's got to be some deal making behind the scenes, I'm sure. So yeah, Pam Bondi's out, and I guess to that, one of these days I'll get these buttons down.
Maybe Kash was being stalled by Pam Bondi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe Kash was being stalled by Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Possibly. Perfect.
Harmeet Dillon is, I think, rumored to take Pam Bondi's place.
Who is that? Why does that sound familiar?
She's a Trump lawyer that is working for the DOJ right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's where I've heard it. A good time to do it, of course. Friday, the week of Easter. So, perfect time. What's the next holiday?
Memorial Day?
Ask Kash when the next holiday is. Well, I mean, this happens, and everybody's, oh my gosh, people are being removed, and generally, if you're not doing the job of the boss, and you should get removed. That's how it works. Generally, doesn't know how it works in government, but in this administration, that's how it works. Gave them plenty of rope to hang themselves, and
she blew that whole Epstein thing and the messaging. And when she was in Congress and they were asking her questions, and she says the stock market's at $50,000. I mean, that she should have been booted.
Yeah,
at that moment.
Yeah, that was mishandled to say the least, and still kind of scratch my head on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Seems like they had a whole bunch of things to release and then they didn't. And you're like, weird. So did you oversell it and then you find out there was nothing, or what? I don't know. So goodbye, get out, get somebody else in. Now what? Are people going to be expecting all these results when the new person gets in? Because I don't think they're going to get much different. I don't think all of a sudden you're going to get all these Epstein videos and stuff coming out, are you?
I don't know about the Epstein thing, but hopefully, with J.D. Vance in charge of the fraud and people looking into what's her name from Somalia?
Yeah, Omar.
We'll see.
We'll keep up with it, I guess. And moving on to our main Ohio story is, First Energy trial's over for now, and it ends up with a hung jury. So after 9 days of deliberation, they couldn't come up with anything. Let's hear from News Channel 5 on a little update. What happened? And actually hearing for a little bit from the jurors too. One of the jurors came out and spoke about it and gave some feedback. So this is actually half a decent report, I think.
Get to this big story here. The trial of two former First Energy executives. It's over without a verdict.
We have the breaking news for you today at noon. And after more than a week of deliberating, the jury is hung. Our Summit County reporter,
how does he know?
Bob Jones, is live tonight outside the courthouse where all this action played out for weeks, with some new reaction and also some comments, Bob, from one of the jurors.
Well, that juror told me at one point the vote was 8-4 in favor of guilty on some of the counts. It then went up to 10-2, but at some point there was an impasse. The jury could not reach a decision. So no verdict in the case that started 2 months ago, and now the prosecution says they're ready to retry it all over again.
There were people who said that they weren't going to change their mind.
One of the jurors, Mark Bachman, says the 7 women and 5 men on the jury reached an impasse as they considered the cases against former First Energy executives Chuck Jones and Michael Dowling.
Most people thought they were guilty.
However, Bachman says after 9 days of deliberations, the jury provided a note indicating they could not reach a unanimous verdict.
All righty.
Bringing this reaction from Judge Susan Baker Ross.
After extended deliberations, we, the 12 jurors, cannot come to a consensus on any of the charges.
The state accused Jones and Dowling of bribing Public Utilities Chair Sam Randazzo with $4.3 million and providing $60 million more in exchange to pass House Bill 6, a $1 billion bailout for the struggling company, and resulting in increased utility bills for consumers. Randazzo died by suicide in 2024 after pleading not guilty to dozens of charges. During the trial, the defense argued Randazzo was corrupt, claiming the payments to him were old consulting fees for former First Energy clients that they say Randazzo stole.
They had 30 witnesses, 600 exhibits. They took 9 days to really go through a lot of this evidence. It's a very complicated case.
And we're going to go through it all over again. Because Houston says he's going to retry him. How complicated would the case be if the jury knew that the company has already admitted to the bribery? And did it have anything to do with 7 women and 5 men on the jury? I'd put some money down that the 2 people holding out were women, but that's just me. And that's that. It's anticlimactic to a trial that was boring as snot anyway. And I don't know. I still didn't understand, or did they ever get to the bottom of where all this money went? They didn't, and it doesn't seem like anyone's even looking into where the $60 million went. Just all blaming the dead guy. Yep, that's about all I got to say about that. Next. on the list, data centers is coming up. It'll be coming up more and more, I would imagine, in the coming years and months and all that stuff. Hilliard residents concerned about an Amazon data center. So Hilliard, I believe, is a county around Columbus area and center of the state. And I don't know, it sounds to me on this story, I got a clip from it, but this story sounds to me like a little too late. Sounds like people of the community are not happy with it, and they're trying everything they need to do to stop it. But I'm not sure they're going to be able to. So let's listen to what the deal is. This had a lot to do with air pollution and trying to get some permits before they can open the data center for Amazon.
Residents filled the Hilliard Recreation Center this evening, many questioning whether the draft permit does enough to protect air quality and keep the community informed. The permit would allow the facility along Scioto Darby Creek Road to operate up to 158 emergency generators powered by ultra-low sulfur diesel or hydrogenated vegetable oil diesel. Under federal law, major sources of air pollution must obtain a Title V operating permit outlining emission limits, monitoring, and testing requirements the company must follow.
Hilliard has a 100% renewable energy aggregation program. They passed the voters passed that in 2022. The fuel cell is set to put out 5.5 times as much carbon dioxide as we're saving with our entire city aggregation program.
Many who live near the site say they're worried about what those emissions could mean for their neighborhoods.
There's a playground right nearby where my kids play all the time, and it's right next to the data center, right next to where these generators are going to be.
Others called for independent monitoring to verify the company's pollution projections.
This is a lot of new technology in a very populated area.
They just insist that, based on our modeling, our projections, that you guys will be fine. There's nothing to worry about. We would like to see that data so we can make that determination for ourselves.
Residents also raised concerns about how often the emergency generators could be used and whether the public would be notified when they're running.
Judging from other data centers in other areas and from what the PJM, which is the electrical grid in Ohio, what they have said, it's not necessarily just going to be in an emergency. It could be because the weather gets cold. It could be in an emergency. What an emergency isn't defined.
An Amazon spokesperson said in a statement that the generators typically operate only about 10 hours a year in Ohio for routine testing, and that the company is committed to meeting all environmental standards. Tonight's meeting was just one step in a multi-stage permitting process. The Ohio EPA will review public comments before issuing a preliminary permit, followed by another round of review before a final decision is made. Community members can still submit comments online or by mail through next Wednesday. Local for you, I'm Samantha Bender, NBC4.
What the heck is she call it a renewable energy aggregation program?
I'm still trying to get over the fact that there's diesel fuel with vegetable oil in it.
Oh yeah.
And I just had fish fry last weekend, and I'm like thinking that was fried in the same stuff.
Oh yeah, you've been doing that for a while. People converting diesels to use old fry oil on McDonald's. I heard that was that's. What does 158 diesel generators the size of a semi sound like when it fires up?
I can't imagine.
Could you? Yeah, they're all worried about.
It's all enclosed, right?
What's that? The generators?
The generators.
I mean,
I don't know.
Enclosed how, you mean? Like they're outside.
They're outside, so the exhaust is not going through a filter or anything like that?
No, it's not. It depends on, I would imagine it depends on the data center.
Yeah.
But the ones I've seen, these things are literally the size of a trailer, of a semi-trailer almost. Some are in that range, or maybe not as long, but wider, stuff like that. They're huge.
Right.
They cannot, I mean, they got mufflers and stuff on it and all that, but 158 regular generators, like the nice Honda ones that are nice and quiet, would be very loud.
Yeah, it'd sound like a hive from far away.
Yeah, and
I'm also wondering, what's an emergency? Are they going to be turning those on when it's hot and everyone's running their AC, or?
that's part of their problem is there's no stipulations on what an emergency is, apparently.
Right.
I just feel like this is a little too late. I think a lot of this is push back. I think people get caught off guard. Oh my God, there's a data center and they're pushing back, and this is the only place they have to push. This thing's gonna go. It's already built. It sounds like they're just they need this approval to open up. So imagine it's on its way to being finished, or in some sort of process. Unfortunately, they, I don't know. That's my guess. I don't really know, but it is going to be, loud and smelly. I mean, it could smell like fish fry. I
don't think it's going to run that much, but
no,
it doesn't say how
it's supposed to. Right,
but it doesn't. The fact that I wouldn't like it doesn't say what an emergency is.
Yeah, I don't know. She's something like, well, and it gets cold out. I'm like,
well, no, she was dopey, but
yeah,
but is it peak hours of electronic use, because the energy company doesn't have enough, so they're going to supplement it. That's what that's what would worry me. Is it going to turn on every day at like 4 o'clock to 6?
Yeah, and what? So you get a big windstorm coming through. You get 50,000 people without power in and around the data center.
Oh, that would sound so awesome at that moment. It would
sound wonderful.
Yeah.
The quiet night air just for miles. I bet you could hear that thing on a nice chilly evening in Ohio. But also, hey, can I get an extension cord? Like here you are trying to make sure you can keep your food from spoiling, and there's the data center, so everybody can get their AI questions in. That's oh God.
Yeah, this is why you got to pay attention so it doesn't get to this point.
Yes. Nice segue, Tom. Speaking of paying attention, we have this next one that this is from X that you pulled, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is not an Ohio story necessarily, but a good story. And wow. So here's this Kentucky family that rejects $26 million offer to convert part of their farm into a data center, despite being offered about 10 times the going rate. And this is like the only surefire way to keep your community intact is to have the guts to say no, and the discipline. And, it's $26 million, but leave it to 2 women farmers to have the balls to say no. Let's hear from, this is from Colin Rugg. He posted this. I don't know what this is from, but it's okay. Colin Rugg is enough. Let's hear family turns down $26 million.
If it's my way, I'll stay and hold and feed a nation. 26 million doesn't mean anything.
Some people might find it hard to understand how Delcia Bear can turn away a $26 million offer to buy some of her land until you spend a little time with her walking the dirt road she grew up on and in the house her daddy built.
My grandfather and great-grandfather and a whole bunch of family has all lived here for years, paid taxes on it, fed a nation off of it, even raised wheat through the Depression and kept the bread lines up in the United States of America when people didn't have anything else.
Delcia is one of dozens of landowners approached by an anonymous buyer, one of the major players in artificial intelligence, likely Google or Meta or Amazon, to purchase their land. The market value for land in Mason County is about $6,000 an acre. The realtor that came to her door last April offered her and her mother about 10 times that.
They call us old stupid farmers, but we're not. We know whenever our food is disappearing, our lands are disappearing, and we don't have any water and poison, we know we've had it.
Delcia's mom, Ida Huddleston, is now 82 years old. She says she does not need the money or the hassle. She was born on this land, and she plans to die here. And she certainly does not trust the promises made by the AI companies or the people who want them to build here.
So what do you say to the people who are in town that say, hey, this is going to bring jobs, this is going to bring economic prosperity?
I say they're a liar and the truth ain't in them, is what I say. It's a scam.
For Delcia, scam or not, she says she's connected to her home like Scarlett O'Hara was in Gone with the Wind.
As long as she was attached to that land, her spirit never would die. And that's the exact same thing for me right here. As long as I'm on this land, as long as it's feeding me, as long as it's taking care of me, there's nothing that can destroy me if I've got this land.
Based. Is it just a prereq that you have to sound like that when you're living on a farm? Why is that?
Yeah, they're in the South, though.
They're Kentucky, but still,
Kentucky.
it seems like. But yeah, I mean, man, that's turned down $26 million. Yeah, I mean that's I applaud them.
Your way of life or $26 million? I mean,
it's really
for some people that's not even a question.
It's really seeing the forest through the trees as I think that would fit there, because they're like, yeah, this $26 million, but they'd be lost. What are they going to do with $26 million? Sell their farm and move to the city?
Exactly.
It would probably kill them. I mean, I don't know. I mean, oh, never mind. I'm not going to go there. But
what would you do?
Oh, I couldn't. What I would me now this me. Oh, I take 26 million, but I'm not them.
You would take 26 million
if I'm me right now. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
But if I was them living on that farm with the way I would say my view would be similar to theirs.
Oh, well, that's what
I mean. That's why I say me now. Like if this came to me, I happen to have a plot of land somewhere worth 26 million.
This is more than a plot of land.
Oh, for sure. That's yeah.
And this isn't 10 acres.
No, 60,000, 26. I don't know what that turns out to be, but they've got a lot.
Yeah.
And they were part of it. And actually, 26 million wasn't even all they said part of their land.
Part of their land. So this is a way of land. This is something that's going to go through generations until some butt munch sells it off.
Yeah, usually a third generation. But this one's been going through way more than that.
Oh, it's more than that.
Yeah, seems like quite a few.
It doesn't sound like it's going to change.
No.
Anytime soon.
Nope, just dumb old farmers. Dumb old farmers. And on that same kind of thread, we've got another, it's not a data center, but solar farm. So it appears that Ohio officials have blocked a solar project in Morrow County. The state cited overwhelming local opposition. This is a Ohio.news X post with no link. I didn't actually see them with an article. So they cited overwhelming local opposition, with residents raising concerns about farmland, environmental impact, and developer transparency. The state board ruled the project did not serve the public interest. So, generally I'm saying, okay, yeah, cool. But then I did a quick Google search, and it seems like there's a little bit of shenanigans going on. Did you see anything into this, Tom?
Oh, well, I read the story. Yeah, it's kind of. Well, go through the story because it's a little confusing, but they're saying there's fake comment. There's it's not real. The opposition, basically, that's what they're saying.
Right, so I Googled this. I just Googled Ohio or Morrow solar farm, blah, blah, blah. And, first couple links, I'm like, Ohio Capital Journal. Let me go somewhere. Okay, here's Farm and Diary. I'm like, okay, they might have a different take. So I go through the whole thing. Yeah, so Ohio Power Sitting Board recently denied a proposal to build a 726-acre solar farm in Morrow County, based on strong local opposition to the project. And it goes through the whole thing and how, it was originally approved, and the OPSB then eventually found that based on opposition to the project from each local elected government entities within the project area and their constituents who were impacted, the proposed project would fail to serve the public interest and convenience and necessity as required by Ohio law. And there's a whole bunch of stipulations they have to hit to get this approved. And up until now, they hit all of them. And then, so as I'm reading the story, I go, to the last sentence says the OEC also brought, this is the Ohio Environmental Council. So I'm kind of suspicious already on them. But the OEC also brought up reporting by nonprofit newsroom Carney Media showing dozens of fake or duplicate online comments in opposition. Okay, so then I got to look a little further into it. So I pull up the Ohio Capital Journal article because I'm figuring, well, if there's, they're probably going to lean one way on this. And what they're saying is a solar farm was denied or was originally approved. It hit all the 8 different things that they had to hit to get it approved. And then all of a sudden, like 2 days before the final vote, one of the local officials changed their vote. And now, apparently because of all these opposition, all these online oppositions. And so basically they're kind of calling BS on it, saying they've proved that these comments, nearly 100 public comments submitted in opposition, were fabricated.
Right. How do you prove that, though?
Well, let's say they were filed anonymously or signed by individuals who did not exist from the addresses that cannot be verified, and purported Morrow County residents who aren't. So they're saying the Carney Media looked into this, and most of these 100, they can't verify any of the opposition comments.
Who's that media company? And who's paying them?
Exactly. All good questions. I'm only saying, there seems to be something going on. Let's look, what's really going on here. I'm all in favor of turning down the solar farm if that's what the community wants. I don't know what else is behind the scenes here. If you don't have enough people involved or enough people who don't want it, then
they're also arguing about what's overwhelming.
Yep. That was another thing.
One suggested 60-40 split. The other suggested a 85-15. 60-40 I don't think is overwhelming, but it's not overwhelming. No. It's strong.
It's strong.
Yeah.
And that's the
85-15 would be definitely.
Yeah. And that's the board. That's the OPSB board, the board that's making the decision. That's kind of what they're saying is the staff had no mechanism to detect fabricated comments. That's kind of the biggest story here is there's no way to prove these comments are real. And that's kind of the biggest thing. It's how, if you're going to have public comment and to try to sway public officials, you kind of got to prove that these people are real.
You got to, well, shouldn't you do that in person?
Yeah.
Isn't that what, city council meetings are for and stuff?
Yeah. And if it's all from online comments and then there's any question in any of these, I think you can question all of them to some extent. Maybe most of them are real. I don't know. But part of their point was the staff didn't have a agreement on what was overwhelming. Some said 60-40 was overwhelming. Some said 85-15 was overwhelming.
What I don't like about this is they're not really saying why people are against it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can guess, but they're not really saying why people support it either.
One of the reasons they didn't like it was, again, transparency, kind of similar to the last one.
You know what? They, because they were making these solar farms, but they were going to contract them out to other companies and they weren't saying who, right?
Yes, that was one.
That's
the second one
BS
too, though. They're claiming one of the ways to get this passed was claiming that they're going to let sheep graze on the land so it could still be used for agriculture, right. That kind of farming thing. But there's nothing in the contract that stipulates that they're going to be allowed to do that, or it's vague, or there's not a lot of details in it. So they're kind of concerned about that. So there is obviously things to be concerned about.
Sure.
It's just, can you do it legitimately?
But who supports it? I mean, I would imagine the only people that support it are maybe the landowners that are making money.
Usually that's who is supporting it.
But I mean, that's not overwhelming support. That's just a few people that probably have a lot of land.
Right. Yeah. Could have something to profit off of. But if there's overwhelming opposition, where's it at? And that's kind of.
Well, are they paying attention, Rob?
What's that?
Are they paying attention?
Exactly.
Is that what we're asking here?
Yeah. Well, we're asking. Yeah. But also, you have a process for these approvals that kind of is suspect because you can't verify. And if they said most of when they the board, the OPSB or whatever, when they were asked why they changed, it was overwhelming public opposition was the key point. And if you can't prove it, then
was that guy getting a lot of phone calls? Maybe
doesn't say.
Yeah,
I mean, if he doesn't say that, then I can only assume no. I can only assume that
it's either really bad reporting or there's some shenanigans going on here.
Sure, one of the two. I'm not sure, but regardless, there's no solar farm. But that could change. According to them, they're going to create 305 construction jobs and generate nearly $300,000 in annual tax revenue. Okay, when the construction jobs are gone, what happens? How many jobs are there? Probably 0.
A sheep herder.
Here's why everybody's pissed, because and they were going to provide $100,000 per year in voluntary payments to local school districts.
So it's not mandated; it's just voluntary.
How long would that last?
Well,
that's that. That's what's happening in Morrow County. We need power. I just don't think solar in Ohio is the way to go. We get 40% of our days with clouds or more.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but
silliness. Put a gas plant there. It takes up less room, and man, looks much
nuke
better.
Plant.
Nuke plant. All right. Well, tell us what you think. Are there shenanigans? Do you want a nuke plant in your backyard? Send us an email, crookedrivercast@gmail.com. Check out their website every Monday morning when the blog drops along with the show, crookedrivercast.com, and leave us a comment on your favorite podcast app.
This guy with Ohio Capital Journal, he wrote this, Craig Adair. He left me with more questions.
Okay. Send your questions to Craig Adair, Ohio Capital Journal. Tell us, give us more. That's kind of why I pulled both sides of it too. I figured it kind of felt like both sides of it. Even the other one was like, there's some question on the comments. But there would be no question if you leave a comment that it's from you, because, I don't know, I tried to get it back on track, but it kind of worked. Anyway, tell us what you think of the show. Come on. Share the show. Tell your friends about it. The show is growing, and we'd like it to grow even faster. CrookedRivercast.com. All right. We are going to hit the I don't have there it goes. We're going to there it is. It's with Critter Corner. Yep. Let them out. Critter Corner today, we've got a few things actually. First one on the list would be HB 754, which would do what, Tom? It would make a recently introduced Ohio bill would require the filing of a certificate of life. Wait, that's a weird way to put it. So after the detection of a fetal heartbeat. Oh, I see. And the registration of all fetal deaths. So basically,
I think after 22 or 24 weeks, right?
Well, after a fetal heartbeat is detected, that could be
no.
Oh,
okay, all right.
It's usually around that time. You're kind of
okay.
I mean, but it can be earlier, depending.
Because it says 20 weeks down here. Generally considered to be between 22 and 24 weeks. Okay.
But they could easily be off by 2 weeks when they try to figure that out, because of the way they kind of figure. I guess it depends on how they figure it.
Oh, I guess over here it says for deaths under 20 weeks, a fetal death certificate is optional.
Ah, okay. Okay, but they will. So basically, once you get the heartbeat, you need to file for a certificate of life, and then if anything happens to that baby afterwards, including an abortion, a death certificate is required within 10 days. Within 10 days of the examination, If there's any, I guess, violent or suspicious means, and it needs to be signed by a coroner. If it say was just an abortion at Planned Parenthood, the attending doctor could sign it, that kind of stuff. And naturally, everybody's freaking out because, I mean, they don't know what to do.
Oh my God, it's going to make me think about the abortion.
Exactly. It's going to make it real to me. Don't do that. Don't make me look at a 3D ultrasound before you kill it. Just
they should frame it and put it on their wall.
I like Texas deal. I think Texas requires you to see a 3D ultrasound before you commit to the abortion.
Yeah,
kind of like that. I thought a good way to solve the abortion is just if they, with all the medical technology, couldn't you just put like a baby window on the belly, and that way everybody can see it growing, and that way you can really determine. Like, I think if you had like a viewing window, it'd be a lot less abortions.
Well, now that's going to be in the future when you have fake bellies for
trans men, trans women, trans.
No, well, women don't want to lose their body, so they're just going to have these.
Oh, baby sack.
Yes,
baby sack. That's they're going to market as get your baby sack.
It's going to be a room of like thousands. That's what they're going to do with the data centers once they're not needed.
Yes, and the key to this is the measure would require a copy of the certificate to be given to the pregnant woman or used to be pregnant woman after it. So, of course, naturally, heads are exploding, and it's a war on women, Tom. It's the war on women. It's the war on women. Anything else on that? I don't think so.
Nah. I kind of like it.
Yeah. I think it really, puts a little emphasis on it in life.
Oh, it just makes you think about it before you do it. That's what the whole thing should be.
Yeah. Moving on, we have a little update, I guess. We had talked a couple weeks ago at HB 249, which is they're calling, GOP is claiming to be an indecent exposure modernization act. And they basically want to take the current indecency laws and update them to include, I don't know, tranny shows, drag shows, and drag. Was it called
drag queen?
Drag queen story hour. Yeah.
Oh, things. Well, they're just trying to. They're indecent shows. They want them put into adult Cabernets, right?
Yeah. They want to limit where you can't just do it anywhere. It has to be where it's already approved as an adult. And of course, everybody's flipping out because it's war on trans again. All these wars on people. It's just we got to just stop it. But this story is
drag isn't trans. We got to stop doing that.
Oh, okay.
No, seriously, I just don't like. It's a whole different genre of, if you want to call it entertainment. It's bizarre. And why do they want to have it in front of kids?
Yeah, okay. The guy we saw last couple weeks ago, or had in the clip a couple weeks ago, he wasn't a tranny.
Yeah, he was just a fag.
He was just a drag. Yeah, yeah, that too. So yes, I get it, but to me, same thing. As far as children come into play, I don't care if you're a tranny or a drag. The fact that the guy did kids shows, wrote a kid's book, and all this kids, same thing to me.
Yeah,
I get it. It's different. Sorry.
I just don't want to limit it to trans because it is, fags. And I don't even know if it's always gay guys. It's just weirdos who want to dress up as women and put on a show.
Yeah, like
you know what I'm saying? I just don't want to. I don't want to limit it to transgender. It's trans.
I get your point. Yeah. Kind of talking the same point, I guess. The same. But like you pointed out, drag shows were like kind of meant to make fun of women, weren't they? Years ago, like men were dressing up to kind of make fun of women, right?
Well, it's a minstrel show. It's just like putting blackface on, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's exaggerated. You know, we talked about it last week, but everything's exaggerated, kind of poking fun at how women act. Mm-hmm. And here is the feminist women all for it. And it's like, you guys proves you're retards.
We'll get to that in the next one. But this actually isn't even the bill, isn't even the story. The story is what's his name now? Kretsch? What's his first name? Does it say? No. Oh, Rep. Rodney Kretsch. He's a Creech is a Republican from West Alexandria. He's accused of, back in 2023 by a minor female relative of climbing into bed and under the covers while erect and wearing only his underwear. And that's the story. The story basically is you can't have apparently this guy voting for this bill means you can't have this bill or something to that effect. Like his vote should not count because he's a creep or possible creep. So basically this guy was accused of this. There was an independent investigation. Clark County prosecutor Daniel Driscoll brought in as a special prosecutor, declined to file charges, but wrote that Kretsch's behavior during the time of the investigation was concerning and suspicious, according to documents. Okay. Kretsch has denied the allegations as demonstrably false. Speaker Matt Huffman originally stripped all four committees from him that were assigned to him in May of 25 and asked him to resign. Kretsch refused, and it's actually Creech probably, but in February, Huffman reversed course, restoring all the committees in a signed letter, requesting the Ohio Republican Party endorse him for re-election. So, I don't know. There was an investigation, nothing there, but he was acting suspicious and concerning. Well, you are investigating him for being a creep, so I'm not sure how you're supposed to act during that, but I think a lot of us may act suspicious, concerning when you're trying to claim that I'm a perv, but I don't know. That's the story.
By the way, that gay guy that we talked about last week that, drag saved his life. He wants to read to kids, right? He likes those. Sorry,
I almost choked on my coffee. You said that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
His name is Danny Thomas. He's a Dayton-based drag performer, and this is what I'm getting at. He's like reading to kids and stuff, and his name is Cherry Poppins. It's like,
yes,
he wrote a children's book. They don't even try to hide it.
I don't know if this guy is the guy from last story a couple weeks ago. He wrote a children's book.
What does he know about popping cherries?
I mean, just his name should not be. I mean,
I know a kid doesn't know what that means, but eventually
a parent does.
Yeah. And they still take him there.
Yep. And celebrate it, Tom. And celebrate it. And who's the sick one? Who's the sick one in the story? I wonder. Both of them maybe, but definitely the drag queen. Yeah, that's it. I guess, got to keep an eye on everybody. I don't know. No investigation was from it. I do like to know, family members. Family could get kind of spicy, so you never know. False accusations and such. Moving on. Check that one off, Tom. Goodbye. Next, we have a little update from HB 68, because it's in courts now. It is, HB 68 was the House bill which restricted minor access to gender-affirming stuff, because it's not really medical care, although they do say gender-affirming medical care, but I call BS on that. Let's hear from 10 TV News out in Columbus on the case.
A question for the Supreme Court of Ohio: if a parent thinks their kid needs medical care, should the state be able to tell them their child can't get it?
It all started after Ohio passed a law restricting certain treatments for transgender minors. This morning, that fight went before the highest court in our state.
10 Investigates reporter Rochelle Aline is live outside the courthouse with what she learned, Rochelle.
You know, both sides agree this is a parents' rights issue. One side saying this law is going too far, while the other side says this law is actually violating their rights. Should minors in Ohio be allowed to access gender-affirming medical care? According to House Bill 68, that answer is no.
The Honorable Chief Justice and Justices of the Supreme Court.
Hell no.
Since that law went into effect in 2024, there's been legal pushback. On Tuesday, Ohio State Supreme Court justices heard oral arguments in that fight. Several Ohio families are suing the state because of that law. The ACLU attorneys representing those families say those treatments are used to help kids who are experiencing gender dysphoria. And they added that they should be legalized for very limited medical purposes similar to opioids.
Opioids are allowed for specific purposes. There are regulations on opioids, significant regulations.
But the Ohio Attorney General's office disagrees.
Is it the state's position that parents have no rights in this?
That's not exactly right, Your Honor. Our position is that parents do not have an unlimited right to override the General Assembly's contrary determination. It's not a constitutional right.
10 Investigates took that statement directly to ACLU attorneys after Tuesday's hearing.
This is a fundamental right that parents historically have had in Ohio and across the country. I think that trans kids, trans people are being used as pawns in political games.
A spokesperson for the Attorney General's office also released a statement after court today. It says, quote, "We are defending Ohio's right to protect children from risky medical treatments. It makes sense to keep children from making life-altering decisions before they're mature enough to fully understand those lifetime consequences," end quote. In the meantime, we are expecting a written opinion from those state Supreme Court justices. In Columbus, Rochelle Aline, 10 TV News.
It was a horrible argument they had. Mm-hmm. It's to me, this is not the question is, what is medical care? What is health care? That's the question I have. That's I think the question that needs to be asked, because have you ever heard those stories where the certain religious groups who don't believe in modern medicine and their kids got cancer and the state's about to take the kid away because the parents don't want to do the chemo or whatever?
Right.
How's the ACLU land on that? I'd be curious. I don't actually know. I wouldn't be surprised actually if they landed on the side of the parents on that one too. But is that how at some level, when healthcare becomes abuse, when does the state step in? Not do parents have an unlimited right? No. I think in a lot of ways they do, but when it becomes abuse, drive me freaking.
I'm just wondering, when I watched that clip, I was wondering where they found Krusty the Clown's wife.
That was the ACLU lawyer. Oh yeah, that lipstick was
the lipstick and the hair, man.
The hair was all over the place, and the earrings. Jeez, oh man, a little too much red there, woman. Can someone say Satan? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's ridiculous. They're fighting it in court now. I don't know.
How is a child trans? To me, that just sounds. How is a child trans? That just sounds like a sick parent.
Oh yeah, yeah. And here's the treatment that I would approve. Sit down with somebody other than the parents and talk them out of being something they can't be. That's the treatment that should be prescribed to them, is mental treatment for the mentally ill. Go ahead. Which is some of this happening in Canada, I've heard over the years. If I go to the doctor and want to cut and say, "Doctor, I identify as a quadriplegic. Please cut off my arms and legs." You should not let the doctor do that. Fair?
Yeah. Fair. I mean, at 8 years old, I might have had bat wings sewn onto me.
Exactly. I would have had a cape sewn onto my neck because I was jumping between a couch, pretending I was Superman. Drove my parents nuts, ruined all the couches. Yeah. So that, to me, that's the argument: is what is healthcare, not how much rights do the parents have. When does healthcare become abuse? And yeah, I have a feeling if that's the argument, I'm not sure. I'm not sure they're going to win this one. So we'll see. Keep an eye on it. See what happens with the. Supposed to come out with a statement or a decision. That's it. I'm trying to figure soon, I guess, the next few weeks. So keep an eye on it, and let you know what ends up happening. Next on the list is this one's gonna do it. I think, yeah. Akron Public Schools break ground on a new facility in Kenmore neighborhood. Now, I'm gonna look back at last week's notes. Is it last week? No, maybe the week before, where we had the story. You know where I'm going? Has a story. Akron cuts. How Akron has to cut $11 million from their budget.
Right. And that was like 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
2 or 3 weeks ago, I think. And then within the next 5 years, they got to cut $50-some million from their budget.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So
the 14th.
Okay. So here we have Akron Public Schools breaking ground on a new school in Kenmore, which it sounds to me, according to this IdeaStream article, that they're paying for most of it out of the city funds, out of Akron's funds. But it gets better because it would be located on the site of the former Kenmore High School. Well, the district closed the building way back in 2022 after it merged with Garfield High Schools. It was torn down in 2025. That's less than a year ago, unless it was done early. The high school was one of 6 buildings that had been closed in the neighborhood over the last 3 decades due to declining population. So they just tore the school down because they didn't need it. Apparently, I guess. I mean, they merged with Garfield Heights, and now they're building a new one. All while they have to cut like $10 million a year for the next few years. I can't figure out why they're in such dire straits with money. I mean, I'm thinking maybe don't tear the schools down and just fix them up. Probably cheaper.
But the kids need new bathrooms and air conditioning.
Stop. Think of the children.
Exactly. That's to me the scam. It's a scam, as Ida says from Kentucky. It's a scam because I think here's where the scam lies. They conveniently for 10 or 15 years stopped maintaining the schools buildings, so that way they can say, oh, see, with deferred maintenance and everything, by the time we go to fix it, it's just more cost effective to build a new one. Because, no kid at Harvard learns in one of those old ass buildings.
Nah.
It's impossible. No way you can get Wi-Fi in those buildings. You can't get Ethernet in those buildings. There's no way. Akron. And again, this is not, we're just going to pick on Akron because I would guarantee you most school districts are this way. I see it in my school district. Oh, yep. You're not going to pass levies. We're going to start tearing schools down. Oh, well, why do you need new ones if you're tearing old ones down? Can't be, every kid can't go to school in a palace. And I think the school my kid goes to is over 100 years old. Does just fine. I bet probably better than most of the kids in public school. All right, I'm good. Thank you for that rant. Feel better now. Come on, get your stuff together, Akron.
Sure.
Yeah. Speaking of getting your shit together, Medina, come on. Medina tried to do something good. They tried, but naturally.
Did they?
Naturally, they messed it up conveniently. So Medina County Budget Commission tried to try to use the new law, I guess that's a law, new law that was passed, I think, at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Which gives the county commissioner, budget commissioner, which may be the same thing, to have the authority to lower the levy rates if they see that it's not needed. So if they see the schools is just flush with cash, let's say like the one district we wrote about or read about a while ago that was carrying over 115% of their budget from year to year.
Right.
They've got, so basically the budget commission was trying to get a $500,000 cut of property taxes on the Cloverleaf school districts and to roll back millions more on other districts. And problem was, though, they missed the date. They had to have the budget turned in according to law by the 1st of March or 1st of April.
March,
1st of March, and they missed it. So now they can't do it. So now they have to turn in the budget as is. You sound skeptical, Tom.
It was just a convenient miss of the deadline.
Yeah, I get your skepticism, but again, I'm.
It could be. I mean, people are retarded.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to land more towards incompetence, especially in the government.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was April 1st, not March 1st.
Oh, darn. I'm such a moron. Yep. So Cloverleaf was $500,000, but they were trying to get, that was, $500,000 was, Cloverleaf, but they were trying to get Brunswick and one other city to cut like $1 million each from the levy. What? Really? You got that much? So according to Cloverleaf leaders, a district, there's something majorly wrong with the system because, listen, according to Cloverleaf leaders, the district has already reduced taxes by $3.5 million in 2025. And after that reduction of $3.5 million in 2025, they promised not to seek another tax funding levy till 2032. Well, I think they're kind of flush with cash. So I guess they have enough revenue, and maybe by 2032, they're expecting, with inflation and everything, to need some more money. It's a scam.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a scam. So that kind of failed, whether conveniently or not conveniently. But this is kind of the first time I've heard that new law kind of being put in. I'm sure it's happening elsewhere, to where they can kind of force the school districts to give some of the money back. I'm not sure if it's a great thing or not. It's something different they're doing. I mean, there is something that said that it was voted by the people, but the levy was voted in. So how can you change it? But I would guarantee if you took another vote, people would vote to reduce it if it's not needed. Especially if you're not going to, you got so much money, you're not going to need another levy for like 10 years. It's like, or 8 years. Seems that maybe you should balance it out a little bit. I don't know. But here we go again.
I know somebody that lives in Medina, and I think they got their house moved there in I'm thinking 18 or 19. And I think he told me his property taxes have doubled since then.
Wow.
Yeah. Not quite doubled, but definitely close to it.
And part of the argument it's been brought up to my attention is what some on the left want is they want these kind of communities to take that money and give it to like Cleveland. Like they want like revenue sharing like baseball does. Yeah, that's what I said too. I said, hell no. I said, you want to start some tribal warfare? Yeah, start trying to take my money and give it to the Cleveland school district. We'll see how long that lasts. Not just Cleveland, but anyway, you go to Akron or go to outside of Columbus and stuff like that. You got areas that have lots of good services and stuff for schools, and then you got places that don't because it's a crappy place.
Taxation without representation.
Exactly. So this doesn't help that argument because if you're going to point it out, they're going to be like, look, they've got plenty of cash. They've got way more than they could spend. Give it back to the people. Don't be giving it to other cities. You figure it out yourself. I would say
the millionaires and the billionaires.
Just billionaires now, Tom. Just billionaires. Just billionaires. I don't know why that happened. Why the change, Bernie? Why the change? So we'll see what happens in the future. I think this is going to happen again. They're probably going to try it again next year. Or I don't know when the next budget goes in. I imagine they may try to do it again. And I imagine there's going to be other places that have already done it and are going to do it. And we'll see how far they get. Next, moving on, we have another story about funding. So Akron Fire Department has a familiar problem. Is the lead I have. They have a familiar problem. We might have talked about this a few times with Cuyahoga County. And let's go to the clip first. Let's start with Akron Fire Department overtime problems.
Well, if you called 911 right now in Akron, would help be available? That is a frightening question. Tonight, the union representing the city's firefighters says staffing shortages are already stretching resources thin. But a budget vote at the end of this month could make things even worse. Now at 3, Isabella Roberts has our story.
The union president says the city's proposed budget isn't enough to keep the department fully staffed. It's not a cut, but a $200,000 increase isn't keeping up with demand.
We're concerned that the reduction in the fire department budget is going to cause a reduction in staffing.
Creative staffing isn't new, but Gostowski says budget pressures are making it worse. 2 years ago, American Medical Response left Akron, leaving firefighters responsible for all non-emergency medical transports. That means when a unit is already on call, it may not be available when you need it.
With the budget shaving that we've done right now to try and manage our overtime budget, we're now in a position where we've been taking a couple of med units out of service.
The numbers tell the story. Last year, the department logged nearly 100,000 overtime hours, the equivalent of 48 full-time employees. The department is also 25 firefighters short and hasn't hired anyone new in 2 years. The city has said it plans to fill those positions this year.
I think that's a pretty difficult task to accomplish in a couple of months. But we'll see. Stranger things have happened.
The mayor's office and city council did not respond to my request for comment. The union says the fix doesn't have to be dramatic, just enough to make sure a unit is available when you call.
We need a little bit more. We're not asking for a lot. The important thing is the 2 med units that we are shutting down on a regular. We need to get those back in service somehow, some ways.
Fire Chief Leon Henderson agrees the current overtime numbers aren't sustainable, but says the answer isn't simply more units on the street. In a statement, he says, quote, "My responsibility is to ensure the firefighters and paramedics operating those vehicles are alert, capable, clinically sharp, and safe to respond to emergencies."
Really? Yeah, how about they're not working 85 hours a week? Maybe they'd be sharper. Am I missing something here, Tom? Like this drives me crazy. Like it seems like the solution is kind of smacking them in the face.
Yeah. Overtime hours that add up to 48 full-time employees. Come on.
We have an overtime problem. Our budget is being squeezed because we have an overtime problem.
So the department is also 25 firefighters short, but they're spending overtime of 48 full-time employees.
I haven't hired anybody in like over 2 years. It says something like that, 2 or 3 years.
So would 25 firefighters get rid of all the overtime? Probably not, but,
all of it, but
you'd have firefighters that are alert. They're well rested. I don't, who's managing this?
I know. It's like, this is a story. And they keep saying, well, if we didn't, they trim the cut. It's like the school budget they were talking about. Oh, they're cutting it. No, you just didn't get the increase you wanted. They increased the budget by $200,000.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
But they're still trimming the budget. It's not, he goes, what we really needed to, sorry, can't help but laughing. Because he says what we really need to do is get those two units back on, those 2 medical units back on the streets. And then the next paragraph, they say, but it's really not about putting more people on the street. Yeah, it actually is. It actually is. That's the whole problem. I mean,
who's this Gostowski guy? Gostowski.
He's a union president. Firefighters union president.
He's terrible. He needs to be.
They're both terrible. The city's terrible. The union's terrible. I mean, come on. There's nobody good in this, man. They're all freaking idiots.
Oh gosh, I can't.
Tom, we've got an overtime
problem.
Blame
the union as much as the city.
No, true. The union probably wants them to hire more.
Because they would get more union dues, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're getting more with overtime, right? Because it all is it
no, I don't think you get overtime.
I didn't know it was a percentage of.
No, not for me. It isn't. So,
it's not. It's usually a flat fee. Yeah. Okay. So with more people, more firefighters and paramedics, they would have more union members,
which makes the union stronger always.
Right.
So
yeah,
I think. I'm not a rah guy about unions, but this is a just terrible management of this from the city.
Yes. I don't. I mean, I keep coming back to. Are they messing with me? What am I missing? Or they're just messing with me? Because if you've got an overtime problem, you're 25 firefighters, paramedics short. You haven't hired anybody in 2 years. Before then, it doesn't seem like you've been hiring many anyway. I think this one problem solves the other problem to some extent. Freaking idiots. We get the government we deserve, Tom. We get the government we deserve, for sure. Oh, where are we at here? Okay.
Oh, man, I hear geese flying by. Oh, it's made me think of you. That was loud. I don't think that'll come through, but I was like, what the hell?
All right, let's go on. I said enough about Akron. Get your crap together. Another scam. I guess we'll move on. Running fast today, Tom. Running fast.
Efficiently. You know what? I was looking at the time, going, man, we've gone through this pretty quick. Are some of the stories just kind of? A lot of the stories were just a little bit touching back on what we talked about before, so we didn't talk about it as much.
Yeah, follow-ups and that kind of stuff. Yeah, wasn't too much. A lot of meat to a lot of them, but yeah, some of them, yeah.
It wasn't. This week wasn't quite as busy.
Yeah, heated up late in the week, but
yeah. Well, we could talk about a little bit. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. We'll worry about that next week.
I got plenty of things on there. We could talk about. Yeah, I get to a certain point in the week, I gotta stop putting stories in. Otherwise, I'll never get to them. So that's where we're at. There's a couple things we probably could have squeezed in, but it is what it is at this point. So now, the good things segment.
We bring good things to life.
All right. First look at the new primate forest at the Cleveland Zoo. So they took the old rainforest.
Yep.
Yeah, and put in a new exhibit, which is well overdue because that rainforest was kind of lame for quite a long time.
It was neat when it first opened up, and then.
And the primates need a new place to go. So here's a little background from 19 News at the zoo.
19 News.
A $73 million renovation is underway at the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo. The primate forest opening by summer, and that's just the beginning. Vic Gideon took us on a tour and gives us the first look to the changes at the former rainforest.
So where we're standing right now is essentially going to be the food court in the new building. So this has a really cool opportunity. On that side is the food service. We have some doors that can close down so we can turn this into an evening event space. Behind me over here, this will eventually be a beautiful tile mosaic mural on this wall that shows a kind of a really nice forest scene. And then on this side, this will actually eventually be a window that when we build out phase 2 with gorillas, that will actually look directly into gorilla habitats.
Chris Kuhar, executive director of the Metro Park Zoo, explains the rainforest building closed in December of 2024 and will reopen almost 2 years later with infrastructure improvements in the more than 30-year-old building, a brand new entrance, and a new focus.
So we're calling it primate forest just because that's kind of the draw to the building is the primates, the big species in this long-term, right? So what this building does is provide us a platform to talk about how important the connections between animals and the environment and people actually are.
Phase 1 includes more than 33,000 square feet of new construction and a newly expanded outdoor orangutan exhibit. Phase 2, which will begin after fundraising is complete and is another 2-year project, will see gorillas move to the building after moving from another location at the zoo. The new center will focus on husbandry, conservation, and education with a special treat for the kids.
And then we have an indoor playground space, which I think is really valuable in Cleveland. So we think it's going to be a building where you can be active and enjoy it in all 4 seasons in Cleveland.
Vic Gideon, 19 News.
Actually, be cool because the gorilla exhibit at the zoo is pretty old, probably before I was born. Seems like when I walk in there, but yeah, it should be interesting to see what happens. Hey, gorillas, watch everybody eat in the food court. But it seems weird. I like that they're putting money into it, keeping the zoo up. It's an important part of a good city to have a good zoo, apparently. And
I'm gonna wait it out a little bit. Maybe I'll go next year.
Oh yeah, I'm not going.
Because you know what? If I go this year, there could be a tragedy. Like there's always some kind of weird thing that they missed.
That's true.
Didn't build right. And I'm going to be sitting there in the food court and some girl is going to be tapping me on the shoulder for some fries.
A little extra topping on your lunch for you.
In my underwear.
And a little bit of poo came out. Yeah, I think it's cool. I've been there a few times, and I'm glad they're repurposing it. And just imagine moving day for gorillas. Now it could be a couple years, but that's an interesting. What kind of movers do you get for moving gorillas? Is it?
Is it a couple years? Yeah. Is it a couple of years? Okay.
This year, the monkeys are going in there.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they have to still get more money, and then that'll be a 2-year project once it starts to get the gorillas there. So.
Yeah, moving the gorillas.
That'd be interesting. I mean,
do you put like a gorilla suit on and like a female gorilla suit on and have them follow you?
Like the lipstick on that chick from
a little bow on your head.
I don't know if the bow is necessary, but it would look funny.
What was the remember they put a gorilla head on? This was a movie. It was a comedy back in the 80s, I think.
Oh my gosh.
So they put a gorilla head on somebody and he was basically taken advantage of by a real gorilla.
Yes. What movie was that? Oh gosh. Send an email if you know what it is, please.
Yes.
I got it. It's going to drive me crazy now. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I see the guy. Was it? Oh, that wasn't Ferris Bueller, was it? No, it didn't get.
No.
This is pre Ferris Bueller, I think.
Oh, that. Okay, send us an email because it's going to drive us crazy. No, it's I don't know. I can't. Okay, now I got to look it up. Bueller. I think it was. I think. Yeah, I don't know. How am I going to look that up? I'm not. That
gorilla raped comedy.
Gorilla comedy. No, that's not going to turn out well. The algorithms are going to go all over that. But send us an email.
Trading Places.
Yes. Yes, that was that was the 80s. Yes, you're right. That was, it was like the security guy was.
It was right at the end of the movie. Well, that's how they're going to move the gorillas.
Oh yeah, it's called bait and switch, and they're going to be highly frustrated when they're done. Lastly, but definitely not least, this is a pretty cool story. This is a historic school hits a new note. It's right note as new concert venue, and this has to do with the Wadsworth Celestia.
I think that's
theater.
Right.
Yeah, Celestia Theater now draws sold-out crowds and revives local businesses. So really, this is a historic building in Medina County that was about ready to be torn down. About 120-year-old school that was slated for demolition, and it was saved by an investor. It's now a bustling concert venue, bringing music, memories, and a big boost to the local economy. They say it's about a 900-seat theater. It's the old auditorium for this school. Just tell you which school it was. I know it does somewhere in here. Wadsworth. So basically, they turned it into a concert venue. And now they're also looking at the rest of the buildings on the campus and turning them into Airbnbs and some commercial
restaurants
and stuff.
Yeah. Should be cool.
Yeah.
We talked about a show that was there a few weeks ago. Erin Stoll, remember? We brought her up. I think she was the person that opened up the place. She's a local country artist that came back from Nashville to open the place up, and it sounded really cool. I'm looking forward to going to see a show there.
Yeah, so they took the former locker rooms and converted them into swanky green rooms for performers. With some, they kept some of the historical stuff in there. And I was trying to figure, I thought it said what school it used to be. Did I pass over that? Doesn't really say. But the funny thing, if you watch the clip or watch the news report in the article, it's a News Channel 5 article, there's a lot of people that work there now that went to school there, or their parents or grandparents went to school there. Cool. Some of them show up and say, "Oh my gosh, my grandfather played basketball right on that stage." It's like pretty cool.
All I see is the Wadsworth Square Foundation, but I don't see the name of the school.
I think they may have said it in the in
the audio,
in the audio port, which I didn't. It wasn't anything there really to pull. But what this does bring up is the Akron story. What you can do with the old schools instead of tearing them down. And you know what? The city of Cleveland has this problem. They've got a whole bunch of school buildings that aren't being used, and they don't know what to do with them. Now, I'm not saying you could turn everyone into something like this, but
yeah, in some of those neighborhoods, you're going to be putting jails up.
Well, I mean, if shoe fits, if it's good for the community, I guess. Hey, they can at least be local when Mama goes to see them.
Mm. Wow.
Well, I mean,
they might have busing for that.
They could, yeah, it'd be cheaper on the busing, though. Cheaper. And gas is expensive now, Tom. Trump's war and everything. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, looks like a cool venue. Can't wait to see a show there. Hopefully, we can get something and get a show there. I mean, it's just, and they do local groups. They're trying to get a local groups to do openers, giving away tickets to kids and the local people to.
Yeah, they got a lot of local performers coming there. I see a ton of the stuff that, like, what's that? The Supper Club in Cleveland does a lot of the tribute type of stuff bands, but I think it's just going to take a little time because this just opened up. They would have had to be booking the bands,
a year or two in advance.
A year. It depends on the band, but I mean, if it's a 900 seat, you're talking about mid-level.
Yeah. So 6 months to a year, probably. I'm thinking.
Yeah, 6 months probably. If people are putting together a tour,
yeah,
I feel like they put too many things in, but they got to bring people there to. I meant they put too many shows in already to try to catch somebody coming through. Maybe going from Indy to Pittsburgh without stopping in near Cleveland. You could always kind of try to grab an act, but they got to book the stuff up. So
yeah, so they're claiming there's quite a few restaurants are about ready to close until this opened up.
Yeah.
And I wonder if those restaurants are open past 8, unlike in the theater district downtown Cleveland.
Well, that is the biggest gripe I have with the theater district that's the biggest gripe I have with downtown. I mean, gosh, walking back to your car from a baseball game, wouldn't you want to stop maybe for a drink? Or sometimes I'm hungry after a ball game and want to eat something and have a drink, and there's nothing open. It's weird.
I agree. I think that's that. Good story. I think I can't wait to go see it one of these times. Maybe. We'll see. See who gets there. It's always going to be.
There's a link out in the article that takes you right to the calendar. So it's cool.
It does. Check it out. If there's anything you like there, you gotta keep these places open. It is part of what keeps a music industry and the music community and everything alive in Cleveland, or in the area, not just Cleveland. So all that's it. We're done. I think that's all we have. I would appreciate it if everybody could, go to your favorite podcast app, leave a comment, rate us, give us 5 stars if we earned it, and if we didn't, just give it to us anyway, please. And go to crookedrivercast.com, check out the blog when the show drops right now as you're listening to it, and send us an email. Tell us about your favorite venue to go see a show at crookedrivercast@gmail.com. And until next week, thank you everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Peace.